We're live.
All right. In accordance with the requirements of the open meeting law, please be advised that this meeting is being audio video recorded. The agenda lists all the topics which may be discussed at the meeting and those reasonably anticipated by the chair. Votes may be taken as a result of these discussions. Not all items listed may in fact be discussed, and other items not listed may also be brought up for discussion to the extent permitted by the open meeting law. Please address all comments to the chair. This meeting of the Conservation Commission is being held by Zoom at the link provided in this notice. The Zoom meeting ID is 834-3042-3637. The passcode is 406418. All this information is available on the agenda, and the agendas may always be found on the town calendar. If you go to the town website, you go to the town calendar. All the agendas for all meetings are supposed to be posted there, and all of them, if they are a Zoom meeting, will contain the Zoom link. I'm Bob Pease. I'm the chair. We're going to do a roll call to make sure everyone can hear and all the members can hear and speak. Rich Birch.
Present.
Katie Childs will not be with us. Mike LaRouche.
Present.
Mary Wilson.
Here.
Rich Tremblay. He was here a minute ago. What happened? Well, I'm sure he'll come back. It's my understanding Jeff Viviano will not be with us tonight. I'm anticipating that Rich Tremblay will rejoin us shortly. I'm not quite sure why he dropped off. Are there any announcements from members of the commission? Oh, and also Anna Petrie. Anna Petrie is our conservation administrator. Any announcements from members of the commission? Any public comment from members of the commission or from members of the public? You may indicate. Nick. Nick, I think you've raised your hand. Or maybe not. No, that's
Hello?
just my cursor. No, that was just my cursor. I thought you had raised your hand, but my cursor was on your name. So sorry.
Bob, hello.
Hi.
I'm not on the meeting tonight, but I talked to Rich the other day. I'm trying to lumen seed my yard, and I just want to make sure that I have the green light from you guys.
I believe that was part of your original order of conditions. So as far as I know, as one member of the commission with no real authority, I think you can go ahead.
Okay, and there's a tree in the yard. It's between me and Bill's house. It was pretty much like half cut down by the utility company when the trees hit the house, and now it's just standing there.
Is that the tree? I believe we gave permission to cut that. If it's the tree I'm thinking of, I believe it's the tree that we gave permission to cut down during the last public hearing we had.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure so I can cut that.
Any other comments from members of the public or from the members of the commission? I would like to call on Chris St. Germain. I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself. If he's with us. Chris St. Germain. He was there. Oh, we got a message from Rich that he's having trouble with audio, and he's attempting to connect to the audio. And Chris is back with us, I think.
Why is it on your face?
Face on, but you're unmuted. Can't see.
All right, well, if there are no other public comments, the first item on the agenda is the minutes of the previous meeting, April 5th. We have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Thank you, Rich. Do we have a second?
Second,
We have a motion and a second by Mary. Roll call. Rich,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Mary,
aye.
Richard. He still hasn't got audio. Richard, can you give a thumbs up in your reaction? The bottom of the screen, if you have no audio. And I for myself. We'll count that as passed, 4 with one abstention, till Rich gets his audio straightened out. We have no appointments tonight. New public hearings pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40 is amended, in the Town of Lunenburg Wetlands Protection and Municipal Bylaws. Public meeting on a request for determination of applicability by Alan and Christie Culberg for the proposed installation of a shed in place of an existing pump house at 380 Sunset Lane. Is there someone here for Alan and Christine Culberg, either themselves or a representative?
Yeah, hi, Bob. We're the ones
Yep.
that says K's of L there.
Okay,
Yeah, hi. So we're looking to get approval for a 6 by 11 by 8 foot high wood frame shed to replace a previously existing pump house that was removed prior to October of 2018. And the shed will sit on existing concrete footings that were present when we purchased the property, and will be further from the water than the pump house was located previously. So that's basically what we're going for. So we're hoping to get your approval.
all right, and so do you have a plan, or would you like me to ask Anna Petrie, our Conservation Administrator, to share a copy of the plan to the screen for people to see?
Yeah, I'm not prepared to share it.
All right,
Digitally.
Anna, could you possibly share a copy of the plan to the screen?
It says it's disabled for me. So.
Ah, that's the host's fault. The host is falling
Yes,
down on the
yes.
job. Let's see. So now the host has to find the right screen. Ah. There we go. All right, go to security, enable people to share their screen. Anna, you should be able to do it now. Thank you, Anna.
So this is one of the plans. This kind of like scrolls down, but I just wanted to show this first one. This kind of highlights where the pump house used to be closer to the waterfront. And then let me zoom out and scroll down. Again, that's where the pump house used to be. This right here, let's see if I can, that's below the pump house, that's the actual patio that is there. Let's see. And here is with those plans where that shed would be by 11, and it kind of fits in where that is cut out of the patio. And then I can always go back to, but I'm just gonna scroll and show the pictures that were provided. And we also on the drive have more pictures that I posted, but this was with the submission. There's the posts there that were originally there. And then where the snow, like where we visited, the snow's gone, and that's just always been like mulched and maintained, and the posts are there too.
Yeah, so
still.
those are the existing footings that were there when we moved in.
All right, any questions or comments from commissioners?
Yeah, Bob, when was the house built?
This is Alan. The house was built around 2013, I believe.
Okay, and how big was the existing shed that you're showing on the, actually, it looks like the existing shed was part of the old house before it was taken down and this big house was put on top of it, correct?
Yeah, this big house was put on top of, yeah, I don't know, I can't remember exactly where the old house footprint was, but I think it's slightly off from where that was.
Yeah, actually, it showed in the first plan that, yeah, right there. You can see the size of the house and the level of development on this property with the new house being put in. And I don't happen to see, so what size was the existing shed, Alan?
Yeah, the pump house, I don't have dimensions on it.
Okay.
I never did. I just can, see the size that, there's the size that's shown on this plan.
Yeah. And the only other thing I didn't see was the 50-foot no structure zone. Because it looks like you're even, at least that shed was over the 30.
Yeah, actually, one of my other the only one attachment shows that the one corner of the shed would be 23 feet 3 inches from the waterfront as measured by, tape measure by me.
Okay, the new shed would be?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, right there. That shows it there.
okay. So we don't have the 50-foot no structure setback
Correct.
on the plan, okay.
Yeah, I don't show that, but
All right, so this whole shed is within the 30-foot and clearly within the 50-foot.
yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, anything else, Rich?
No, I'm good for now.
All right, thank you. Any other comments or questions from commissioners? Any comments or questions from members of the public?
Mr. Chairman, can you hear me?
I can.
Wow, I'm not sure what happened. I'm very familiar with this project. Obviously, I've lived in Lake Shirley for about 36 years, and I'm speaking as an abutter now because it is my neighbor. I just want to say that I fully endorse the project. I understand what it's all about, and I think it's a real good idea. Be good for the board and good for them as well. Okay.
Thank you. I'm looking at the diagram here, and it shows it's 6 feet by 11 feet. And if I look at where you had a picture before, or Anna showed a picture before of what looked like maybe the tops of some sonotube footings. Oh yeah, right there. Oh, I see. There's 3 of them. And is the dimension across those 3 footings 11 feet?
There's 3
Yes.
more footings.
Yes,
the
the
back.
dimension across the front of those is approximately 11 feet. And then there's 3 more footings along the back wall there, like where my signature is on that wall. But I took those pictures in the winter, and so I couldn't get to those. But when Anna and Mary Wilson visited last Saturday, they could see the 2 of the other footings. One of the footings is buried under some stones right there, right next to the stairs. So I'm not dug that out, but it is under there.
And so, Alan, in your opinion, or to your knowledge, is the distance from the front fitting to the back footing, is that about 6 feet? Or a little more?
Yeah, I think it's slightly more, because I wanted to have a, you know, I want to have a little gap between the wall and the back of the shed for air flow.
I see. All right, well, to me, that's great. The existence of the footings is good evidence of, you know, a pre-existing shed there. Because without the, in my opinion, without the pre-existing shed, this application would be dead in the water. So, but that's just my opinion as one member. Thank you very much. Any other comments or questions from commissioners?
Mr. Chairman, this is Mary.
Yes, go
If I
ahead,
may.
Mary.
So these footings look relatively, new is not the right word, because I don't believe that the current residents put them in, but they don't look like they've been used. And these footings, the arrangement of these footings doesn't align with the former pump house position. I don't believe, from
Okay.
my read on the engineered drawings. As an engineer, my read on those engineered drawings.
And
So
Mary, as a person who's did the site visit, what's your interpretation of these footings?
they look like they were placed there by a former owner of the property with anticipation of putting a shed there that maybe never materialized. That's what it looks like. And from the measurements, right, of where these footings exist now versus where the drawing shows the former pump house being positioned,
Yeah,
that seems to align with what the drawings say as well.
all right, thank you, Mary, for that
Okay.
clarification and for setting me straight on what these footings represent.
Okay, Mr. Chair, does
Go
that?
ahead.
Yeah, so yeah, I kind of I agree with that. Like I said in my opening statement, the new, you know, the shed, the proposed shed would be a little farther from the water than the that pump house had been. So yeah, I agree, those footings can't be from that pump house.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying that. Any other further discussion or comment from members of the commission? Let's see, this is a RDA, so we don't need a NOI number. Does anyone have any further comment about if there should be a motion and what that motion should sound like? I don't think we're gonna get any new information, so I would appreciate it if someone would make a motion about this application to either have a negative determination or a positive determination or you know, conditions or anything else like that.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Rich.
yeah, given that this is fully in the 30-foot and is not anywhere near the remnants of the existing pump house, I would not be in favor of that and would make a motion for a denial for permission to put the shed there.
So that would be a positive determination.
Okey doke, yes.
All right, do we have a second for Richard's motion?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Mike.
I think I want to agree with Richard, knowing that we do not know where the old shed used to be, where the pump house, was it in that corner? Or was it somewhere else? We can't identify where the pump house used to be?
Well, the
It
pump
was
house, if
on
you
the
look at the
plan.
plan, Mike, in my opinion, it would appear as though the pump house was smaller than this and a little closer to the water.
Mr. Chair?
Actually, I think it was on the other side of the 30-foot, Bob. I don't think it was on the lake side of the 30-foot.
That's my
Looking from plan to
interpretation
plan.
of the drawing as well.
All right. I should keep my mouth shut. I can't say anything right tonight.
Yeah, so, Mr. Chair, this is Alan.
Yep, go ahead.
Hi, yeah, so yeah, by this drawing here, you can see the existing pump house there that's highlighted in yellow. That's a little closer than where the corner is where we would be putting in, where we want to put in the shed.
But it also looks like it's a good deal smaller than, if that's a scale drawing.
Yeah, I
Although
believe
maybe
it is a
not,
scale
that's
drawing.
24 by 30. So if that's 24 across, well, it certainly is an 11.
Yeah, I think you are correct that pump house is a little smaller than the shed we're proposing.
All right. So, right now we have a motion on the floor looking for a second. Do we have a second? If we have no second, then I'm gonna be looking for a different motion. We have to do something with this application.
I'll second Rich's motion. This is Mary.
All right, thank you, Mary. So we have a motion. Do we have further discussion now? It's been, obviously, there's a lot of angst about this, just given the waiting time here and the amount of silence. Is there further discussion about the motion to give a positive determination, which would mean that the shed couldn't be built? And I'm assuming, since, although he didn't say it, I'm assuming that Rich Tremblay will be recusing himself since he said he was speaking as an abutter.
Yes, sir, I will be.
All right, thank you. So that means it needs 3 votes to pass. If there is no further discussion, I'm gonna call a roll call vote. Rich,
Aye,
aye, to have a positive determination.
correct.
Mike,
Aye.
I'd have Mary.
I'd have a positive determination.
Well, then I'm gonna vote aye also. Alan and Christina, I'm sorry, but the commission has decided that you're putting new impervious surface, new structure within the 30-foot no disturb and the 50-foot no structure, and they're not going to permit it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for your time. We appreciate it.
All right, thank you very much. On to our next public hearing. Pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40 is amended. In the Town of Lunenburg Wetlands and Protection Municipal Bylaws, a public hearing on a notice of intent by Lunenburg Skate Park for the proposed construction of a skate park and drainage basin at 100 Chestnut Street. I see Greg Roy warming up his screen.
Yeah, can you all hear me?
I can hear you just fine. Greg, am I right that there's
Okay.
still no DEP number?
Correct. There, I just looked
All right.
a few minutes ago. There is no DEP number, so I will give you an introduction here. I'm hailing from the Outer Banks of North Carolina this evening, so
Congratulations, that's wonderful.
That's exciting.
I hope that my
Better than
connection
here.
stays solid. So the weather is indeed beautiful here. So anyway,
Excellent.
Mr. Chair, could I share my screen? Would that be acceptable?
Absolutely.
Okay. Bear with me here. I'm running with one small monitor. And so, okay. Can you all see the screen?
I can.
Yep.
Okay, great. Okay, for the record, my name is Greg Roy with Dillison Roy Civil Design Group, and I'm representing the Lunenburg Skate Park, Inc. this evening. With me today on the call, I think, is Anthony Caiozzo, who is many of you probably know, he's the president of the Lunenburg Skate Park group. And I just wanted to spend about 5 minutes, maybe, just giving the commission a little bit of a history as to where we've come with this project, to make sure everybody was up to speed with sort of the history of the project, and then I'll of course do the customary project introduction. A group of 5, it might have even been 6 boys back in the 7th grade, about 6 years ago, 5 or 6 years ago, embarked on a school project to create to research the idea of creating a permanent skate park in the town of Lunenburg. And I will not bore the commission with the details, but if you fast forward, 6 years till today, those group of boys are now just about to graduate high school, and they've spent the last number of years in front of just about every group that would hear them, including town boards and commissions, as well as nonprofit organizations and all kinds of grants. And we've now raised about over $200,000 for the project. And we have north of $50,000 in-kind donations pledged for the project as well. So we have now embarked, signed up with, and hired a skate park design firm who will also transition into the contractor for the project as well. So we are well underway here, and the project over the years had a couple of different locations, but for the past couple of years, we've been working with the Parks Commission to put the park within Marshall Park. A year ago, members of the commission may remember that the Parks Commission embarked on a master plan study for the entire Marshall Park area, and we worked closely with that to identify the location for the skate park within that master planned park, within the entire master plan of the park as a whole. And the area that they slated for the skate park is located right next to the T-ball field, if you're all familiar with that. So if you come in Marshall Park from the Mass Ave side, and you drive in to the entrance road, you will come right after you get through the gate that they just installed. There's a stone wall. There's a immediate right that goes kind of through the woods with a sort of a gravel road that was constructed a number of years ago that sort of cuts the corner over towards the T-ball field. That is the area where the park will go, right adjacent to the T-ball fence. So if you can kind of see my cursor here, this line right here is the limit of the T-ball fence. Off the page, up in this area here, is the parking area, and then further up it would be the outfield fence of the softball field, just to kind of give everybody a bearing. And I hope that puts context in this, because I'm realizing now I don't have an overall park plan to share with you. But the solid gray here, hatched grayscale area, is the limits of the concrete skate park that we would be constructing. The footprint of that is 8,500 square feet. And I think that the overall dimensions are approximately I can't even remember. I think it's 75 feet by like 120 feet or something nominally like that. To put that in perspective for you. There is a wetland system down in the woods, which you can see here with these wetland flags. It's not hatched in, but it's right down in this area here. And so there's an associated 30-foot no-touch zone, which is right at this dotted line here, right on the edge of our proposed limit of work. The corresponding 50-foot no-build zone is right here, this dashed line here. And then the 100-foot buffer zone is this heavier dashed line here that you can see. So most of the park that we are, most of the park, with the exception of a very small corner of it, is completely outside of the buffer zone. this project, of course, will be creating new impervious area, and is not a residential project that would be afforded an exemption under the Massachusetts Wetland Protection Act from the Stormwater Management Guidelines. So we have designed a stormwater management area to comply with the Massachusetts stormwater management policies. So we have designed a swale system here between the skate park and the T-ball field that will collect the runoff from the skate park. And I'll go into a little bit more of the grading here in a minute, but we have a swale that will convey the flow down into a conventional stormwater infiltration area where it'll be managed and infiltrated. Large infrequent storms would be discharged through the overflow structure on the downgraded side of the pond. All of that pond would be constructed outside of the limit of your 30-foot no touch zone. Most of it is within the 50-foot touch zone, 50-foot no build zone, only because it's really elevation dependent. We had to get that as low. We had to, elevation wise, we had to get that as low as we possibly could on the site so that we could get the stormwater to it. From a grading standpoint, it's very difficult for you to see on this two-dimensional plan, but if you can all imagine a skate park, it has ramps. So this is this feature in here is a sort of a ramp where this section in here is about 4 feet lower than the upper portions here. And this sort of slopes down towards an open end on this side. Same thing here. We have, some flat areas, but they all slope down, and everything ultimately drains from this high point on this left side of the plan down to the right towards the T-ball field. And we designed it that way intentionally because that's where the existing grades work on the site. And it's sort of the way that it made the drainage work in the skate park, so that we don't have any standing water anywhere in the skate park. Very important. I did not get them on this plan. I know that I'm going to owe you this. I did send a survey crew out after we submitted this, after my site walk with Anna, which was about a week and a half ago, I think, or 2 weeks ago. We did locate the trees within the stormwater area in particular that are within particularly the trees that are within the 50-foot no touch zone. Between 30 and 50 feet, there are 4 trees that will need to be removed. I think there's, if my memory serves me correctly, there's 1 pine and 3 hardwoods. I think they're oaks. All of the oak trees in that area are in the 12-inch range. So we're not talking about enormous trees, but there are a few trees there. So I intend next time, I know that you can't close the meeting this evening because we don't have a DEP number, but I do intend to have those on a plan with some mitigation for those as well. So I did want to bring that to your attention. I think that is the bulk of what I wanted to say this evening. And I'm happy to take any questions, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Okay, questions or comments from members of the commission?
Mr. Chairman, if I have a question.
Go on ahead.
And I may have lost track, Greg, and I apologize if I did, but somewhere in the woods there appears to be a wetland. I mean, this weekend when Anna and I went out, there was depression and it was filled with water.
Yeah.
Oh, and it's where your cursor is. I see that.
Yep. Let me highlight it for you. Sorry about that. I ordinarily would mark up a plan, but this is the wet area down here.
Okay. Okay. Very good. Thank you.
Yep.
And Greg, could you highlight the area where you're saying you're going to take down trees?
Yeah, sure. So there are trees, and I'm going to show them to you within the 100-foot buffer zone. Really, I'm going to circle this. The whole area is wooded, really. So
yeah,
this is all all in here is wooded, okay? I'm gonna show you all the trees within this location on an upgraded plan, but the 4 trees that are within the 50 are located, right in this area here.
And speaking as one member of the commission, our present rules say you need to replicate trees taken down within the 30-foot no disturb. It doesn't
Okay,
talk
so-
about the 50.
We would love not to do any replication. We're obviously trying to devote as many dollars as we can to the construction of the park, but we certainly understand that we have to comply with your regs. So I guess I was under the impression that it was within the 50 foot, but I guess
No,
I
it's
may
within
be-
the 30.
Okay, well, we're not doing any trees within the 30. With no touch within the 30, so we're in good shape there.
Other questions or comments from members of the commission?
Mr. Chairman, if I may,
Go right
Um,
ahead, Mary. I'm sorry if I interrupted you before.
I thought the replication was a mandate within the 30, but was discretionary outside of the 30 within the 100.
That's, we certainly, I mean, we can ask for replication anywhere, I believe. But there's nothing in our regulations that talks about replication outside of the 30.
Fair enough.
That's my interpretation. Richard was the author of that, if he wants to weigh in here, by all means, but that's my understanding.
Yeah, the regulations are under the bylaw, and 30 foot is a mandate. Anything outside of the 30 foot is at our discretion, as we feel that it should be replicated if need be.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Rich.
Other comments or questions from members of the commission? Richard?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Greg, how many trees in all do you estimate that you'll be taking down in that area?
Boy, it'd be a guess at this point, Richard, but I think it's probably in the 15 range. I have them on a plan. Let me see if I can, let me see if this works. 1 second. I hesitate doing this only because I'm not sure how it'll show, but let me see if this will work. Bear with me. So you can see here, we located a ton of them.
I'm still looking at the same screen, Greg.
Oh, can you see the screen that has all the trees on it now?
Nope, we're still looking at the same plan that we've been
Oh,
looking
okay.
at for the last 15 minutes.
Okay, 1 second, then I have to switch. I am not used to sharing with only one monitor. How about now? Can you see a plan now? Okay. So this is a rod. I haven't vetted this yet or cleaned up the plan. This happened while I was on vacation here, but I sent the survey crew out to locate the trees. So this entire clump, I can't draw on this unfortunately, but this entire clump of trees down here and this one will be saved. Okay, so all of these trees down here are not coming out. All of these trees over here are not coming out. All the trees in the 30 foot are not coming out. This pine tree will be saved. It gets a little muddled, that's why I have to clean this up. But there are this oak tree right here. There's another oak tree right here that has to come out. There's a pine tree right here. There's a pine tree right here. And then there's 2 oak trees here, right in this location. So I think that's 4, 5, 6. This one I think we can save. 7, 8, 9, I think 10, 11, 12, 13, yeah. I'm in the 13 to 15 range. Most of them are right on the edge of the buffer zone. A lot of them are kind of on the outer limits of the buffer zone. There's actually not many trees. If you walk out there, where we're proposing the basin is actually kind of a clear area. I mean, there's a few trees, but it's not the densest part of the forest. If you can see here, you know, we're not going in an area like this and putting the detention basin as happenstance occurs. So it actually worked out fairly well from a tree removal standpoint, but there certainly are a few that we have to remove.
Well, Greg, in your opinion, would it be feasible with the design of this park to replace even a few of those trees?
Yeah, I mean, we can replace a few trees for sure. You know, it's not gonna, you know, it's a little tricky because we'd probably put them, we'd like to put them away from the skate park if we can, because you know, leaves and skate parks aren't great. Not that we're not going to have trees around it, but you know, we'd love to put them sort of on that, you know, deeper into the buffer zone, if you will, where we can fit those. But I think we could definitely put a couple in.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Any other comments? We're definitely going to have to continue this since we don't have a DEP number. So other than the placement of the trees, is there anything else we're going to be asking Greg to do, you know, between now and the next meeting? Are there any other comments tonight? If there are no other comments, then I'd like to look for a motion to continue until May 3rd.
So moved.
Second,
Motion and second, roll call, Rich,
Aye.
Mike,
aye.
Mary,
Aye.
Richard,
Aye.
and I for myself. Thank you, Greg.
Okay, thank you.
And thank you for sharing the screen.
I'm on next too, but I got to turn my light on in the room here, so bear with me.
Okay. Pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40 is amended. The Town of Lunenburg Wetlands Protection and Municipal Bylaws. A public hearing on a notice of intent by Robert Shapiro for the proposed construction of a parking lot and relocation of an existing playground at 39 Main Street. And it's my understanding that also does not yet have a DEP number. So we'll be discussing this tonight and looking to see, you know, what further information do we need before the next meeting, and then continuing it. So who is here tonight for the Shapiro's application?
Mr. Chair, Greg Roy, Dillison Roy, I am here representing Rob Shapiro this evening. Rob is also on the call. So again, with your permission, I will share my screen.
Super.
Okay. Can you all see that plan?
I can. It's a little small, but I can see it.
Yeah, I'm gonna zoom in for you. Bear with me here. So, okay. So as you mentioned, we're here this evening for the property at 39 Main Street. This is the building formerly owned by the church. I think we're all probably fairly familiar with that. Maybe have visited the building for a function or two over the years. Rob Shapiro has purchased the property for the purpose of using it for his business, which is I'm going to call it a school. And Rob, you know, please feel free to chime in here and correct me if I'm wrong. But Rob has a business that works with children on the autism scale and things like that, and so has been looking for a permanent place for a number of years now, and this property really fits the bill for him. So he has purchased the property and intends to convert it into a building that would be used for that purpose. The primary, there's a lot of interior things that he'll be doing from an architectural standpoint, but from an exterior standpoint, the biggest thing that is required for this site is, of course, parking. And so his program will involve a day program with approximately 30 students, or 30 children, with approximately 30 staff to support that. So we have been working, we've filed concurrently actually with the planning board for site plan approval on this one, which will be open next Monday. But of course, we've designed the number of parking spaces and the layout in accordance with the town's parking bylaw in the zoning bylaw. And I think we have a total of 33 spaces on the site. If you can visualize the site to the north of the existing building on the, of course, this is on the west side of Main Street. There's a low area that you can see from the street. If you walk down there, past the building on the sidewalk, or you're driving by, and that's the area we're proposing to utilize for a parking area. There's also an existing curb cut that exists, and more or less a ramp that can be used even today to get down into this area with a vehicle, and that's the part of the site that lends itself naturally to a driveway. So we're proposing the driveway access in that location, and then the parking area would be this L-shaped area here. The wetland system is located at the back of the site, and it is the same wetland system that would be bordering on Marshall Park. So if you can, on Marshall Pond, if you can visualize that. So there's a rather broad wetland area that exists between this site and the edge of Marshall Pond, and this is the limit of it right here. It's at the bottom of a very significant slope that you can see here on the plan. This first dotted line here is the limit of the 30-foot no disturb zone. This second dotted line here, sorry, I'm zooming out a lot. I'm not used to this monitor. This second dotted line is the limit of the 50-foot no build zone. And then this dashed line here, this heavy dashed line in this location, is the limit of the 100-foot buffer zone. So you can see that there is no work proposed within the 30-foot. There is some work proposed within the between 30 and 50 feet. And then, about half of the parking lot is within the 100-foot buffer zone, and a little bit more than half of the stormwater area is also within the buffer zone. So this project is a commercial project as defined by the Weather Protection Act, and again, is not afforded any exemption from stormwater management regulations. So we have designed a stormwater management area that will infiltrate and manage the stormwater runoff from the impervious areas on the site. That will include both the new parking lot areas, so the new impervious areas, as well as the existing impervious areas from the rooftop, from the roof of the building. The location where we're proposing the stormwater management area is in is on an existing plateau that exists behind the building. It actually works fairly well from a grading standpoint. We were able to keep most of the basin 50 feet from the edge of the wetland. All of the infiltration that would occur within the basin would be greater than 50 feet from the wetland edge, as is required by the stormwater management regulations for infiltration areas. And we, as a result of the way that pond is configured and laid out, we have the added benefit of being able to not only capture the paved areas, but also the runoff from the roof area. So it adds a net benefit to the site in that we'll be capturing some impervious area and providing some infiltration for those areas on areas that have not historically had any stormwater management associated with them, other than roof downspouts and a discharge onto the surface of the ground. We are proposing to take down a few trees. I'm noticing now that this is a little bit difficult to see, but these trees here, they're not labeled on this plan. I apologize for that, but we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 trees proposed to be taken within the buffer zone. We're trying to save as many as we can. There's quite a few trees over in this area that we'll be saving, and the entire slope is vegetated. We didn't capture those on the plan, but this is a heavily vegetated slope. We will be planting new trees scattered around the parking lot area associated with this application as well. I think I'll leave it at that. As you mentioned, Mr. Chair, there is no DEP file number associated with this project yet. So we do know that you would have to continue this. We understand that, but we are certainly interested in hearing any comments or questions that the commission may have. And I will turn it back over to you. Thank you.
I have one initial question. You know, you're showing that you're gonna put looks like a turnaround area in half of one parking spot in within the 50-foot no structure there. Would I be correct in assuming you could point the commission to some regulation which requires you to have every single one of those parking spots? You know, some zoning regulation, or they're required, or?
Yeah, you have, so I'm just using the erosion control plan here, but as part of your package, you have the entire set that we submitted also to the planning board.
Yep.
And sheet C3 has the parking requirements here, so you can see our program here.
Yeah.
We have 30 children, 27 employees. Mr. Shapiro would actually like to have 30 employees. So we're actually a little bit, you know, we're a little bit light in parking here. So we're really trying to get as much parking as we can on the site. But that is the amount of, that's his program, 30 to service 30 children. And so you can see there that we have, those are the parking requirements from the town zoning bylaw for each of those. You need 1 space for 5 children, and you need 1 space per employee.
Thank you. That's exactly the information I was looking for, because I'm sure that will come up in just a moment.
Sure.
All right, thank you. Any comments or questions from members of the commission?
Mr. Chairman, I have a question. This is Mary.
Go ahead, Mary.
In the stormwater management area, are there any trees in that area or in that embankment? There aren't any shown
So
on your
I'm-
drawing. That's why I
I'm
was
gonna-
asking.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I'm going to say no, Mary, but I'm going to, with the caveat that I will verify that. And if there are any, put them on the plan, and I will verify that. And I will confirm that if I'm correct at the next meeting. This entire area in the back is really disturbed. So it's very shrubby. I'm not sure of the type of shrubs. There's probably a lot of invasives, to be quite honest with you.
There was a lot of oriental bittersweet back
there's
there.
probably
That I
bittersweet, and
noticed.
there's
Yeah.
probably multiflora rose. There's definitely greenbrier. It's that kind of area. This whole sort of slope, this flatter part of the slope in here. is not a lot of overstory. But I will verify that and put any, if there are any overstory trees there, I will put them on the plan.
Thank you, Greg. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, Greg, I would suggest, that, you clearly identify, before the next meeting, which trees will be removed, any trees
Yeah.
that'll be preserved, and, any new trees that you're already planning on adding.
No problem.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions from members of the commission? Richard?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Greg, just a quick question. In this parking lot area over here, are there any plans to change the grade at all?
Great question. Thanks, Rich. Yes, we will be slightly. We're trying to work as much as we can with the existing grades, just so we don't have to bring in a lot of fill or cut a lot of, take a lot of fill off the site. There will be some fill required to be brought in, which is normal because we'll need to bring, base material in for gravel and things underneath the asphalt. So, for example, these solid lines here are the proposed contours, and the dashed lines, as you can see under here in more of a grayscale, are the existing contours. So in this area here, we have a proposed elevation of 556 over an existing contour of 555. So there'd be about a 1 foot fill associated with this area. As you move down the site, it's very similar. Here we have a proposed 555 over a 554 roughly, so it's about a foot in there. I think down here it's about the same. We're about a foot fill down here, and that's just because we can only slope this parking lot so much before you have too much cross slope with cars parked, sort of cross slope on a slope like that. So I think we gave a 5% slope on that, which is kind of the maximum limit that we like to see before someone's door is actually going to not stay, in one location. You have problems with doors hitting cars and things. So we are proposing a short retaining wall down here to sort of catch that grade right at the top of the slope. It's a few feet, I think, in height, just to make sure we can catch that. I do want to say that including all the areas, all the paved areas on the site will be graded back sort of away from the slope and towards the two proposed catch basins, deep sump footed catch basins that'll be located in the parking areas, and then discharged into the stormwater management area. So all of the paved areas on the site will be the stormwater will be managed associated with those areas. But no, the grading question is a good one, Rich. We tried to work as much as we could, but we could only get down. We could only slope this ramp so much, so we tried to get as low an elevation as we could, as fast as we could, to try to get down to the existing grade, but it just, you can only get down so far. So there is about a foot of fill in the flatter areas of the parking areas proposed.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Richard. Greg, is somewhere on the plan, is there a detail on that retaining wall? It's down there right at the edge of the 30 and the 50?
That's a great question. I do not think there is, but I can certainly add one for you.
That would be wonderful if you could add that before 2 weeks.
Yeah, let me just take a quick look here, see if I have it in my. Yeah, I don't think I have one, so we can add that for you, no problem.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? So what I remember hearing tonight was, clarifying the trees to be removed, the trees to stay, making sure, about the trees in the area of the detention pond, that whether there are or not any, and putting a detail on the on that wall. And other than that, I don't remember anything else. Does anybody else have anything we're asking Greg to do between now and 2 weeks from now?
I will say, Mr. Chair, if I may,
Yeah, go ahead.
as I mentioned that we will be opening the planning board process here on Monday night. We do expect to also get comments from that process too. So we'll make sure that we put the three comments you just mentioned, 2 relative to trees and 1 relative to the detail. We'll make sure that's on the plan. But I guess I just wanted to make the commission aware that our intention would be to have you ultimately be reviewing and hopefully approving a plan that is final with both your board and the planning board. So my intention would be to incorporate not only the comments received from your board tonight, but also any comments we received from the planning board on Monday night through that process, and have sort of a comprehensive set back before both your commission and the planning board, so that both boards are reviewing the same thing. It just makes us, what I don't want to put an approval in the mouth of the commission, but assuming that the commission feels comfortable approving this ultimately, we want to have one set of plans referenced in both decisions. It just makes it easier for the contractors and things. So I
Thank you.
wanted to
Can
make sure
you,
that you were aware.
can you explain a little bit more about the silt sack? That looks like that could be a real pain in the neck to maintain.
It's a pain in the neck to maintain, but it's the best way to do it. So when we put these catch basins in, there is sometimes a short period of time, probably on this project, a very short period of time, where we have the grates installed before we have pavement, stabilized site. And it's a real, I'll tell you what's even more pain in the neck is having a vacuum, get a vacuum truck or a jet truck to clean out your storm drains, after you pave, because there's been all kinds of silt that have washed down through the catch basin. So what we do is, when those are installed prior to paving, at any point prior to paving, we have them put those silt sacks in there. And yeah, when you get a storm and they fill up, you got to pull the catch basin grate, and you have to pull the silt sack out and empty it out. But the small price to pay, especially that there's only 2 on site, for keeping the storm drainage system that you've just spent thousands of dollars on clean. So
And
that's why we do
so
that.
is the silt sack, will the silt sack still be there after construction is completed, or is that something for during
No.
construction?
Nope, that is during construction only. Great question. Yeah, that's during construction only.
I feel a
after
little
the
better,
site-
'cause I can't even imagine the poor people trying to run a school having to worry
No.
about these silt sacks.
No, just during construction, prior to, in this case, prior to paving. Once it's paved, there'll be no reason to have those in there anymore.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
If there are no other comments, I'm looking for a motion to continue until May 3rd.
So moved. Mike,
Looking for a second.
Second, Richard.
Motion by Mike, second by Richard. Roll call. Rich,
All right,
Mike,
aye.
Mary,
Aye.
Richard,
Aye.
and I for myself, and I won't give you my little spiel about sending a copy of your canceled check to DEP because you've heard it before.
Yeah, we'll be following up with them for sure. So
All
I
right,
appreciate
thank
it.
you.
Thanks, everybody.
Yep.
how do you get all these easy jobs, Greg? Squeezing this in there.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I guess I'm lucky.
Yeah, I'm impressed how much you got in this space, so
Oh, thanks, Rich. Appreciate it.
yeah, nice job. Thank
All
you.
right, everybody. Thank you.
Night.
Enjoy the beach.
Will do.
Pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 4 is amended. The Town of Lunenburg Wetland Protection and Municipal Bylaws, a public hearing on a request for an amended order of conditions by Brian and Cynthia Ritchie for proposed changes to a previously approved dock at 137 Flynn Road, DEP number 208-1242. And if I recall correctly, last time we said we wanted to see some additional information on the plan. And
Yeah.
so, Mr. and Mrs. Ritchie. Dr.
Good
Ritchie.
evening.
Good evening.
Yes, Mr. Chair, so we have a new plan from Dillis and Roy, and maybe.
Wait, stop. Is that a Yukon Husky hat?
It is.
Ah, see, I have 3 degrees from there. I'm a rabid basketball fan.
We have 2 children there.
Oh, okay. So your money and your kids go there.
Yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
So okay, so Anna was able to bring it up. So we brought up the new plan. So in the red is the approved open deck structure that we've currently been approved for. That spans from dock to dock, edge of existing dock to edge of existing dock. And if everybody remembers, it sits on an existing concrete structure out there. We are proposing a smaller 13 by 8 structure, but a screen porch as opposed to an open deck. And the concern last meeting was the drainage off the roof, and we've had Mr. Roy draw in this proposed dry well north. You can see north of the screen porch. Slide right. So we would have the water drain off the roof on the back corner, and it would head into this dry well system.
Oh, I see. Proposed. Okay, yep. Thank you. I believe that's what we were looking for. Any comments or questions from commissioners? Any comments or questions from members of the public? If there are no other comments, then I'm looking for a motion. This is an RDA, and I'm sorry, this is a NOI, amended order of conditions. I'm looking for a motion to approve this amended order of conditions.
So moved.
Thank you, Mary. Do we have someone who's willing to second this?
Second, Mike.
Second by Mike. Any further discussion before we vote? Roll call vote. Rich,
All right,
Mike,
Aye.
Mary,
Aye.
Richard,
Aye.
and I for myself. Any questions, Mr. and Mrs. Ritchie?
No, just thank you very, very much.
So thank you for your
Sorry, I had
time.
to wait through the whole meeting for that.
That's
That's
fine.
okay. We keep learning a lot. You guys are doing good work. Thank you.
All righty.
Bye-bye.
New business, update on the timber rights fund. I sent an email. Nothing's really changed in the timber rights fund. I sent an email today, earlier today, copied everybody. I'm looking for a motion tonight to approve a purchase order of $955 from the Timber Rights Fund to buy more trail markers. Right now, we don't have enough trail markers to mark the existing trails on the on Table Rock. And Mary Wilson has been working with the Girl Scouts to go out there and mark the trails. And we've run out of green, red, and blue. And so, and by the way, I have to mention that George French, I don't know if anybody knows George, but he has been working really hard at putting up trail signs all over the place. And when he gets done with the present signs he's working on right now, the only place left in town that doesn't have all the trail signs bought by the Grant Up will be Northwest Town Forest. So that's going great. But anyway, I'm looking for a motion to approve a purchase order to Voss Signs for $955.
so moved.
We have a
Second.
All right, roll call. Rich,
All right,
Mike,
Aye.
Mary,
Aye.
Richard,
Aye.
I for myself. Mary, anything on Earth Day?
Oh, Earth Day has been awesome. We have 2 more events coming up this weekend. Oh, no, 3. We have 2 opportunities with the pollinator habitat on Saturday and Sunday, and then also on Saturday with the oh, I'm sorry, there are 4. They aren't organized the way I was thinking they would be. Yeah, so Saturday and Sunday with pollinator habitat. Saturday, there's also spring cleanup at Wallace Playground. And Saturday, there is also an opportunity for tree planting at the library. So big weekend ahead. So far, we have had great turnout. Getting close to 200 man hours of volunteer time that has benefited the town. You know, just kind of doing some course estimates, right? According to the way Mass Trails compensates volunteer time, that's close to $6,000 of value back to the town. So it's been really, really awesome. And you know, just for me getting out and working with folks on the various conservation commission sponsored projects, it's just been great getting out and meeting people and hearing the enthusiasm that these volunteers have for helping out with our you know, our conservation areas. And yeah, it's just cool. But yeah, that's what's going on with Earth Day. Anna Lockwood was proposing that maybe on May 2nd that she and I go and do a project report to the select board. So if that is okay with you, Mr. Chairman, and with the fellow commissioners, I would like to support that proposal.
I heartily endorse that.
Okay. Yeah, so that's what's going on with Earth Day. And you know, it was a great online forum. I think there's another ad coming out in the Ledger. There are various, Anna and I are trying to keep it live and active on various Facebook forums. So yeah, encourage your friends and neighbors to turn out. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. A week ago Saturday, I went out for a mountain bike ride on Saturday morning, and I'm going down the cart path on the Lane property, and who do I run into but Mary Wilson out there with about 5 or 6 volunteers ripping out Oriental bittersweet and multiflora rose and all this other stuff. And she made me feel just a little guilty before I rode on and continued to enjoy myself. So, but so thank you very much, Mary, for all of your energy and enthusiasm and hard work.
My pleasure.
I'm assuming there's no grant proposal update, and there won't be till June. I went out tonight, update on encroachments. I went out to 950 today and took some pictures. I think I shared those with all of you earlier tonight. I have to tell you, I'm a little skeptical that the people who live there now aren't using that shed. Clearly, there's a lot of junk all around it. I mean, there's a lot of active liquor bottles inside it and everything else. I think if you look at those pictures, there's a half of a stripped down motorcycle and a lot of party supplies and a lot of other things in there. So, Mary.
Mr. Chairman, I did see those photos. Thank you for going out and taking those. I think with the owners of the abutting property showed up at our last meeting, they said that they were not using the shed anymore. But I was surprised when I saw the photos that there was so much stuff around the shed that seemed to be on conservation land. Do we have any idea whether they lay claim to any of that?
They readily admitted that the stuff to the left of it, I think there was an ATV and some other stuff was theirs, and they would move it if you know, if someone motivated them to do that. You know, but basically at this point, my next step is to you know, go and discuss the situation with the town attorney and see what the town attorney has to think about it. Because that is not, I didn't realize when you're looking at, the shed's about 25 by 20. And it's more than a shed, it's a building. You know, I was thinking, oh, maybe it was a shed, and you can come along with a, you know, with a great big forklift and move it. This
No,
is
it's a
building.
garage.
It's a garage. It's a
Yeah.
garage with a wood floor that's pretty substantial, even though it doesn't have a very good foundation. And it's got a ton of stuff in it. I mean, you could probably fill 2 dumpsters just with the stuff inside. So, and I don't know if you saw the picture, there's a, like a drive that goes over onto conservation land that looks like it's been mowed and stuff, so, you know, but at any rate, but I just wanted to share, I went out and took the pictures because I wanted to get a better handle on, you know, what the situation was there, before, you know, I met with the town attorney about it to, you know, see what he had to think about their idea that they shouldn't be responsible for removing it because they didn't put it there and they didn't and they weren't using it. So, and 315 Lancaster, oh, in Pleasant Street, I think Anna did you update us on that in the last meeting, or has that happened since the last meeting, Anna?
Yeah, that was a mistake. We forgot to take it off the agenda. 110 Pleasant Street should be off the agenda. I've already visited that property.
So did we discuss that at the last meeting that Mr. Proctor, Bob Proctor, has moved all his trailers off of our property?
Yes, that is correct. All the shipping containers are gone.
Okay, we're knocking these off one at a time. And at some point we have to circle back with the people on Lancaster to see have they you know, have they done their survey? Where are they in getting their survey and moving their stuff? But I know if you go to Greg Roy and ask him to do some survey work for you, I'm fairly confident he's going to tell you a minimum of 8 weeks. So you got to, you know, give them some lead time there. Hollis Road residents, anything new, Mike?
Yes, there is, Mr. Chair. I spoke to the facilities director, Chris Ruth, this week. And he's a very nice person. He's very willing to help. In fact, he's asked me, and he's also asked if you would be willing to take a tour of 123 Hollis Road, just to get some pictures and to see, you know, where we stand on what things could be put as a project up and coming. He was very good about expediting some of the purchases. I'm sorry, some of the requests for Earth Day and other projects at the Habitat, since he's the holder of the credit card. I think I finally got the way how to get that done in an expeditious way. So that was very good to have happened. We should probably get some delivery of some of the objects or some of the materials that Ginny was looking for Earth Day tomorrow. So that was very encouraging. And what else here? We continue, or I've continued to kind of open up, bringing my chainsaw and, you know, cutting certain trees that have fallen during the last storm and opened it up a little bit so there's room to park without worry of backing into any trees that have fallen. And the next thing is to mow the lawn, which I guess is going to happen with our new and improved mower, hopefully before Saturday.
Wonderful.
And I did want to just connect with you that I did also meet with John Jones at the Hunting Hills Conservation Area, looking at that birding grassland.
Yep.
You know, after we did notice a lot of birds, we sighted some yellow warblers, some bluebirds and turkey vultures. Too early for bobolinks, however. We're looking for perhaps beginning to mid-May for those. So I will continue, as well as John will continue, so we can get a notebook full of birds that we see in our sightings in the next few weeks.
That's wonderful, Mike. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So if Chris wants to take a tour, I think it would be good if we could coordinate with the tenant so we could get inside the house, you know, and show them around inside the house. So
I'm in the process of doing that, Mr. Chair. I do have a couple of messages out to the tenant. I have not heard back yet, but I will keep trying.
thank you so much. And and on that note, Anna, our lease or our agreement with the tenant there says they're supposed to do so many hours of work on the property each month. And I used to speak with your predecessor, Matt, and also then with Nadia about we really should ask the tenant to take and submit each month some documentation of what she did that month. Would it be possible for to reach out to her and request that?
I can do that, yes. I can reach out.
And be kind of insistent about it. I don't think we've ever gotten it.
Okay.
And
Yeah, I don't recall ever getting anything.
and I believe that and I know I've heard about it more than once from the assistant town manager that the lease there is a great deal, and we should be making sure that they hold up their end of the bargain. So
yeah.
Thank you very much, Anna.
Mhm.
Anna, tell us about this administrative determination.
Okay, hold on one second. I'm gonna share my screen just with a few pictures. Okay, so this is an administrative determination for 360 New West Townsend Road. This would be for tree removal. More specifically, it would be 3 white pines on this property. And obviously you can see the wetland system that is behind the home. This is one of the trees. This is probably the closest tree. It looks like super close, but I was fortunate enough, the homeowner, he had a land surveying tape to help measure that out. And that's actually 45 feet from that immediate resource area. And I'm just gonna scroll through. These are the other 2 trees that are set further back. They're on the 50-foot line. And a lot of these trees got, and this is a common theme, these trees got damaged from this past winter. A lot of the tops were snapping off, a lot of the dead branches. You can see a lot of branches on the ground. So they're very mature white pines, and there's a whole lot of other ones around as well. There's also some really nice smaller hemlocks tucked in as well on this property. Essentially, this property owner just wants to remove those 3 pines because those are going to be those trees. He got an arborist come by and kind of get an idea of what trees could he remove, and those are more of a threat to the house because the house is directly behind those trees in that water system, and those trees would more likely fall towards the house and on the porch rather than those other pines. They're more likely to fall toward the water system. So, and these trees have a lot more damage from previous storms. So yeah, this individual, he wants 3, yep, you can see them all on the line here. these 3 trees to be removed. And then you can see on here, there's more trees that are, creating some canopy cover. And then further back behind these 3 that are proposed to be removed, there's a good amount of like small hemlocks as well, which is surprising. We don't see those a lot, so.
So I assume, since you brought this forward to the commission, that you are recommending that the commission approve the removal of these 3 trees.
Yes, because a lot of these white pines did have storm damage, but he only wants these 3 removed because they would more likely fall in the direction of the house and the porch. So yes, I am more towards for them to approve that he had these 3 trees removed.
Are there any comments or questions before I ask for a motion? Mary Wilson?
So, Mr. Chairman, thank you. Could we state again where these are relative to the body of water?
Yes, so we measured those out with the land surveying tape, and this tree right here in the middle was the closest tree, and that is 45 feet. And then this tree is like 50. So they're all bordering the 45 to 50 foot buffer from that water source.
And okay, thank you. And did we the damage to the trees is it, is it imminent that they're coming down, or is it like one of those things where the tree will probably come down in 20 years?
Yeah, it's one of those where it has like a lot of like dead branches that are coming down. Actually, the closest one to this, or in this picture, the top actually did snap off. I couldn't get a good picture.
Okay.
We like looked at some of the top of it snapped. They're pretty mature trees, and they eventually will come down. Or if there was a really strong windstorm, of course, like white pines just like to snap. It's just like a precautionary, and then obviously like there's a bunch of limbs that actually went into their yard too. So yeah, it's limb damage, but also precautionary.
Do we have an idea of if the applicant is willing to do replacement planning of any type?
I did mention that to him, and he seemed open to that idea if the commission were to request.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I'd be interested in some type of replacement, not necessarily, just me as an individual, not necessarily, the 2-for-1 that we do in the 30 foot, but we would be losing some mature canopy there. And I know it's not by act of man, right? Other than we're maybe accelerating it just to control where it falls down, but I'd be interested in seeing some replication done there.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead. Anything else, Mary?
No, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
If there's no other discussion, would someone like to make a motion? Mary, if you make a motion, you could take and include in there your statement about
That's a
some
great
replication.
point. I would like to make a motion that we allow the trees to be taken down with a 1-for-1 replacement.
Second.
Yeah, I was just going to add with some type of native tree. I don't care what.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Roll call. Rich.
Aye.
Jeff. Oh, Jeff's not here. Yeah, Mike.
Aye.
Mary.
Aye.
Richard.
Aye.
And I for myself. Well, what else? Certificate of compliance, 12 Alder Way.
Yes, so this one, sorry, I'm just like bringing up the letter just so I have reference. I unfortunately didn't get any pictures of this property. I did drive and go visit this property. So this property is actually a part of Village at Flat Hill. And so the order of conditions, there's technically, I think, two different order of conditions in relation to the application for Village at Flat Hill. This is just one of them, I believe. And I've had a hard time finding a lot of these files in relation to Village at Flat Hill. There should have been a lot of application submissions just because it was inclusive of all the properties that were being built. So the only things that I have been finding online and in the office is just the order of conditions. And so a lot of these properties have been developed and have been developed, I believe, since 2000 or a little after that. So this is more of, and there is an as-built as well. So I have that to reference. But unfortunately, I was not able to look at the original plans due to wherever the big box is full of the engineered plans is currently not in our office and possibly in the attic of the Ritter building, which is also misplaced. But other than that, the property has been obviously stabilized for a while, and as well as the other surrounding properties, since again, this was an order of conditions that was inclusive of Village at Flat Hill with multiple properties or parcels.
Any questions or comments about this certificate of compliance? I'm looking for a motion to approve this certificate of compliance for 12 Alder Way for this order of conditions that was originally dated August 2nd, 2000. So it's 23 years old. And recorded in Registry of Deeds, book 3668, page 211. I think I'm looking for a motion.
Why,
So-
I guess I missed it. Why are they asking for it now?
Because this property is actually being sold. And I guess just that time frame, someone has lived in it and now they're selling it, and the realtors discovered this amongst going through paperwork, and they feel that this needs to be closed out in order to make a more clean and closed out property sale. So
All right, we couldn't find any of the as-built or,
the as-built, there are as-built plans, but like the original engineered plans from when it was first submitted are completely misplaced. Like they're not, because it's a little older, so and nothing was put online as yet. And then as far as physical files, since there was definitely going to be a whole lot of files, there's no files in like our filing cabinets or boxes, and I haven't found them in the Ritter building's attic. So they're somewhere possibly, but the time frame that I've received this, and now I still have not found them.
so I guess my concern is this is an order of conditions for the entire subdivision.
Pretty much, yeah. And then there was actually two order. of
Yeah, so I
associated-
myself would not be in favor of this until we can find more documentation. Because I know they have problems up there with drainage and other things, so.
Yeah, that's why
I-
it came up, like when I was first looking for this information, because property owner, they're coming forward because they want the plans because of the drainage issues, and they kind of want more backing on that. And Rebecca and I have, whenever we have time, we try and look for those files, and unfortunately are not finding those.
And I agree with you, Rich, that it'd be good. We should endeavor to find that stuff. But I can tell you that a lot of our files are just gone.
Yeah,
You know, they were stored in the basement of the town hall, and they got moldy and they just got thrown out. So
Does DEP save any of the filings that are submitted to them?
I once reached out to them and, but I don't know, we could certainly ask Anna to look into that.
Yeah, like I say, I mean, the cover letter specifically states that it's not on that property. So if they're not the property owners, I don't know if they can technically ask for it anyways.
Yeah, and if it's for the village of Flat Hill, I know, like, I live in a condominium. And we tell the people who live here, you have no standing. It has to be the Board of Trustees that apply. Individual property owners can't apply to the Conservation Commission or the Planning Board or anything else without the blessing of the Board of Trustees. So
Okay. And I know the DEP as well as us, like in regards to like keeping certain documents over a certain amount of time, there is like a limit of years that they're required to keep the like engineered plans or order of conditions and so on and so forth. So I think definitely the engineered plans, I think there's always supposed to be at least one copy like required. But as far as other submissions, it's typically thrown out.
yeah, I've always had an issue with the stuff that's in the order of conditions. Really doesn't have that much to do with, it doesn't really document, what we approved as
Yeah.
much, and I wish it did, but
But yeah, I can reach out if there is a board of trustees at Village at Flat Hill or whoever I would contact. I'll try.
Paul Sarpis, contact
Okay.
Paul Sarpis, and he's on the Board of Trustees. I'm sure you know Paul from the Lunenburg Ledger.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I'll reach out and pretty much discuss that and continue our search. Those plans exist.
Yeah, because
You're looking at it as
technically,
well.
yeah, technically, it's the responsibility of the applicant to prove that they've done the work as approved. So some of this can get thrown back on the Village of Flat Hill to prove that the subdivision was built properly.
Yeah,
That's not our responsibility.
So based on this discussion, then I suggest we table this till 2 weeks from now and see what Anna can find out.
I would be in favor of that.
Then acts as chair, and given nobody else's comment on it, I'm gonna say, let's move on to the next thing on the agenda, and Anna, see what you can find out before May 3rd.
will do.
Thank you so much. Where are we on the Beers lot? They were gonna do a submission and.
Honestly, I don't know what's holding them up, and I've reached out and with no response. I'm not sure exactly why. They were in contact with one of the employees from Dillis and Roy, but at this point, I feel like there should have been at least some updated plans, or unless they're completely changing.
I think it's time we send them a nastygram.
Yeah. Yeah.
Saying if we don't have, some updated plans by May, whatever, either May 3rd or May 17th, you're gonna have to appear before the commission and explain yourselves.
Yeah. Okay, I will send out, I'll do an email, but also do like a letterhead as well, and send that off to them.
Thank you very much. Nothing new on the Howard Street driveway, nothing new on timber sales, nothing new on conservation lands improvements, other than I sent everybody a notice inviting you to come and meet with our beaver consultant at noon on Friday. Any committee reports?
Oh, Mr. Chairman,
ahead.
As the attend, delegate, I guess, for the Open Space Planning Commission, I just wanted to highlight that the open space is still talking about the Lake Shirley access
Yep,
and is still in a lot of dialogue about, Parmenter and Zero Reservoir Road.
yep.
But that seems to be ongoing. So
Yes.
there haven't been any definite decisions there at all about even I guess making a formal comment to the select board about transferring it to parks. Yeah, that's what's going on at it seems to be the big subject of dialogue at the Open Space Planning Committee.
Thank you, Mary. Any communications or public comment? Hearing none, I think it's time to look for a motion to adjourn.
So move.
So moved. Second.
All right, roll call, Rich,
All right.
Mike,
Aye.
Mary,
Aye.
Richard,
Aye.
and I for myself. Thank you, everyone, and have a pleasant evening.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Night.
Good night.